Welcome to the Jesus Show.
Whoa, glitch, live glitch.
Welcome to the Jesus Show. My name's Jesus. This is Mary.
Hey.
This video is titled Mary's Back, which kind of like feels like the name of like a carbonation video where like the cult leader's wife has gone away with his son. Like
they had another blowout. They made someone go in the closet, and
then she had to go away to like recalibrate in the pain matrix, and then come back after being like, but I can't live without the cult vibes and Jesus.
But this is not carbonation.
This is not that. That's not what happened. This is just Mary being back on my live after like a week.
Imagine that.
Because I was kind of a shithead last time we went live, and
How so?
I tried to flex on her on
publicly humiliate me?
Public humiliation, because I was feeling hurt. And I was like, you know what? Let's take this into a public forum, which was an inappropriate thing to do.
And to be fair, one of my favorite things is if I have an opportunity to like be in a victimized situation, I will totally like be like, yeah, let's do this. Let me sit here and take it.
So we totally collabed on that.
We are I wouldn't call that a good match, but we have we got this foil going on where we got a lot to learn from each other.
That's why we were drawn together by fate.
Fateful meeting
of literally having our marriage arranged.
Yeah.
It's been so lit, though. I say arranged marriage, and y'all are like, oh, culty, edgy, oh. But really, bro, it's pretty lit. Like, to, like, grow to, like, into a relationship rather than just fucking every single other relationship. What?
They're all arranged, but you're letting
Tinder
arrange. Tinder's Satan is arranging your marriage.
Would you rather have your relationships arranged by God or Satan? Now, I've the last 3 or 4 relationships that
you need to be careful.
Of what?
I won't expose you on this live, unlike you.
I'm just gonna take the L on that one. I'm like, okay, don't expose me, please. Maybe. Anyway, what was I saying? The last few relationships I had before this were like arranged through. I don't know. We had the most significant thing is that we had sex like immediately when we started dating, and sex led to dating instead of dating leading to sex. Except for like, I guess the last relationship I had in the pleasure matrix that I was like kind of trying to do to integrity, I did not do that, and that was actually a better relationship than other ones that I've had, and that things that were positive got generated from it. And now this one, yeah, it took a long time. Doesn't it feel like a long time, but not even that long, but like we've been together for a while?
Yeah, it does feel like that. We've done a lot in that short period of time. Time here is really stretched out because we have so much of it. We spend it all.
It's chubby as fuck.
Yeah.
Time's real chubby.
What you're saying now is reminding me of a thread I was watching on Twitter. I wasn't watching it because it's not television, but I was reading the thread. And it was someone being like, shout out to having sex on the first date. It's how I met my husband, and I think it's the only way to go, because how come you would ever date and waste time if you didn't know you were sexually compatible right away? And I was looking at the thread and the comments underneath it, and it was so fucking goddamn depressing, and like it was discouraging. It was discouraging, to say the least.
It's crazy that people think sexual compatibility is the only thing that you need in a fucking relationship. It's one of the things that you need, certainly.
I would also say, though, that like literally people think that's a rarity, like sexual compatibility. They think that's hard to come by, and they think that
trad vibes, bro. My whole thing is like, sexual compatibility has never really been that big of a thing for me. Like I can make it work. It's like the love compatibility. Without that, and this is where I go in the trad, and I'm seriously, this is like what my parents taught me, that like sex without love was a fucking, a meaningless experience or whatever.
Hey, they had some wisdom
There,
for all they didn't do.
and maybe that's just for me, for like depraved losers who are like natural disposition is to go really hard into like really fucking gnarly shit. That like a little bit of wholesome times, the sex will just kind of work itself out. But
when you do something like that right away, you're immediately like circumventing anything about like getting to know someone and be vulnerable in other ways first. And I feel like it just like it sets you up for a certain type of failure that even a fully fucking like getting married and having a life together, like it's I don't know. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent about this because
go on a
I'm
tangent
like,
if you want. What I'm trying to say is like that sex isn't a big deal. Like, well, sex is a big deal, but it is not a big deal in the way that I'm saying that there aren't people that you can just fuck, or that I'm discouraging fucking people, like, without going through like getting to know them a bunch. Now, I think that it's a prohibitive thing. Like, the more you do standards, the more you get into like not being a satanic person and more of a human being, that there's just going to be less and less and less and less and less of people who meet your criteria to even enter into a relationship like that. But
you're
especially when you're trying to build like, when people use it in the context of like, it really helped my marriage that I did this. It's like, I don't buy that at all. I don't really think that's a thing.
yeah. And to be clear, like you're always creating something when you're having sex, even if it's not literally a child. It's a very powerful thing. Like you're creating energy, and like if you don't have any discernment or like you don't get to know anything about anyone that you're doing it with, like you are you're creating a lot of bad shit, and you're attaching yourself to someone in a way that's like
Well, you can create a bunch of shit.
You can create a bunch of shit, and you're always attaching yourself to someone and taking on a lot of their literal DNA. Like,
yeah, and we're also saying this from a place of like, I am still, it's not a fucking blanket statement. There's context. Some people are just supposed to fucking get laid a little bit more, but there is like a vibe to it, especially for fucking bad boys out there. And here we go. Let's just get into it. Cash.me/$watchitall, PayPal.me/watchitall, laundruss at automat.me is
for
the
Google, that's for Apple Pay and Zelle.
Apple Pay and Zelle.
Yeah.
And we got Google Pay too.
Yeah.
We do. Or we do. Never mind. We won't get the Google Pay users. You just fucking download another app or send an email to 100f@automat.me if you'd like to wash in any way that was not stated above. And there are plenty of ways to wash, whether it be doing social washes. She can help you out with that. Whether it be trades, whether it be, washing your time, your skill set, washing stuff, assets.
I want some people to start wearing white and shaving their heads. That's the social wash that I'm interested in right now. I just was thinking about it today.
Where's your peeps at? Where are your fucking peeps at within that process? They should get on it.
Yeah, the people who know who they are know who they are.
If you know who you are, you know who you are. But yeah, the sex thing was a little bit of a tangent, but the thing, we were just like relationships. Yeah, not everyone finds love through a fucking cult. Like, whether it's the cult of your school, or whether it's the cult of your work, or whether it's this cult, that cult. I mean, Jim and Pam from The Office, would they ever have found each other just out there in the world?
Without their cult leader, Michael Scott.
Exactly. Literally. Michael Scott, bro. it's just about being like willing to admit the thing and also pay homage and due to where the fucking thing came from. Because we've talked many times about how we probably wouldn't have noticed each other out in the world, even though we were kind of in similar scenes. I don't doubt that we would have. I even think that statistically, we probably would have run into each other, been in the same space if we haven't already been in the same space from each other. But doesn't mean that you can see the other person.
And can I go on another little tangent?
Tangent away.
When you wash your belief out of the pain matrix into this and expanding the pleasure matrix, you're giving up a lot of things that you got through satanic means, which means that there's the hidden price to them. They're not exactly what you really desire, and until you sacrifice them, they're taking up a bunch of space in
Those are called
all
hypnotic
your
desires.
containers. And you need to, when you wash, you're getting rid of things. You are like paring down so that God has some room to deliver you the shit you actually desire. And I will say, everyone who washes starts that process. They have to get rid of shit first, and that's emotional shit. That's literally physical shit. Fucking bitcoins, whatever. And then as they do that, there's more room, and shit starts coming in that they want.
Wash
And
your fucking NFTs, guys.
like
Wash
I have my own experience of getting the relationships that I wanted. I have cult feeders that tell me all types of shit like that. I was always searching for like someone that I could trust as an authority on like what the fuck was going on. But I like couldn't find any teachers who knew what the fuck was up. I was like, therapy's retarded, like all that shit. I don't know. I was thinking about this because I was like, wear white, shave your head, send me a picture. But also wash enough so that you can actually start to get the shit that you want and the relationships that you want. And
so that you can be a mess in them for a bit until you figure them out.
yeah, it'll be a bit of a mess, like anything new that
Riddle
you haven't
me.
done.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Riddle me this, crypto VC NFT Twitter. If there was a fucking Indian in the cupboard type situation, I'm sure. Have you read that book?
I don't actually think I've read it. I've just
But
seen it a
know
million
it.
times.
You know the thing. Like
I
a
do.
kid gets a cupboard and he puts a little toy Indian in the thing,
Yeah.
and it turns real. Would any of y'all want to stick any of your NFTs in the Indian cupboard? Just like, would anyone want to live with a fucking rotting ape? Would anyone want a smoking, like, imagine a little smoking little fucking punk, like always with you, always smoking out of a pipe or a fucking cigarette? Or like literally, is there one single NFT that you would want to inhabit any space with? No, because they're all cursed.
Cursed images.
And if they were to actually animate the demon that is actually planted within each and every one of them,
blockchain,
it would be fucking horrifying. And instead, it is just manifesting and ruining your life. And it's one of the most confusing ways to ruin your life because it's very hard for you to tell, because it feels like you're on top of the fucking world. If you made any money off this, if you made fucking Ethereum, you feel invincible. Look at Ferocious fucking with his shoes off, sitting on the fucking ground on fucking on Trafalgar Square or whatever the fuck. Not even in the square, like on the street. All right?
It's called clout poisoning.
People are clout poisoned as fuck, and that's going to feel like you're on top of the world and your life has never been better. Really, you just bought a demon with Ethereum, which is already a demonic coin, and now you have a little demon living with you. And it not even hiding, it literally looks like a demon. Like, would anyone want a ferocious painting in real life?
No.
And like art, there is an artist, like whatever, like,
I will say that there is artists. I'm the last person to say anything nice or good about art or the art world or artists, but at least they have a little bit of boundaries up from the NFT world, and they're not, they're not going down that particular spiral, but
Artists
they're
are the
going down their
worst.
own spiral.
No, but at least NFT artists are like you. It's like artists or just fucking people of Gen Z and some millennials had a fork in the road whether they're gonna go real art and just basically turn their art into a social justice experiment, or go into NFTs and potentially make a lot of money for basically stealing. So neither of them, artists are just pathetic. Like half the time I see people making art, like I know how satanic NFTs are, but then I'm like, you're so pathetic because you don't know how satanic NFTs are, but you're still making art, which means that you just don't, it's not a fucking, like you don't give a shit about your life and you're just pretentious, and it's not. So there's no way to make art in the apocalypse. No one's doing it.
There really isn't.
What?
And if you
Because
want to
any
stop,
art,
then just do it. You're feeling that for a reason.
and try to discourage the artists in your community. Like I
Do
was
the
thinking
community
about this.
service.
I know Ferocious keeps coming up, but Ferocious is being lauded as like the artist of our generation by crypto NFT Twitter, which is like, fuck it. It's an interesting pool to pull from. Imagine selling a fucking painting or a fucking sculpture for $2.9 million while simultaneously everyone in your life is telling you that you are the best thing ever and that you are a flawless human being, that you are wonderful, that your come up is so amazing. There's no haters. That person has no haters. They think they've no haters. Okay, Basquiat did not do that. There was a period where they were being like, certain people were telling them they were great and whatever. Well, and they died at 27. So you see how that works out. But these artists do not typically make money like they're being made in their lifetime. And if they do, like Jeff Koons or something, they are torn apart for being a fucking sellout, wastoid piece of shit. No one is doing that to Ferocious. So I'm really fucking curious to see when that person is going to die or get like have something really fucked up happen to them. Because you cannot get both at the same time.
The manic high of clout poisoning and like the place that most people who think they're like winning it and like succeeding right now is always followed by a fucking hard crash. And sometimes that crash is literally into death. And all the crashes are coming, and like we're in a very interesting, exciting time where like all the crashes are coming. So
pay attention to whoever's riding high right now. Just means that they have a longer fucking way to fall. Everything that fucking goes up must come down. That's just, hey, I don't know if that's gravity, because, things still fall without gravity being real. We don't actually need gravity to explain that, but everything that goes up must come down. Now, does everything that goes down always come up? Not necessarily. Like when you drop a fucking rock, does it come back up? No, not always.
Maybe
Our goal is to fucking keep falling. Keep going.
It's to go so far down that you tunnel through to the other side, and there's another realm out there underneath, and on the other side you flip upside down and you're like, what the fuck, bro?
Literally the only exciting thing that I ever thought about Ball Earth being real, like when I thought it was real as a kid, the one thing that I was always really excited about is because people said, if you dig a hole and you keep digging it, you'll fucking go to China. Yeah. Like you'll be able to come out on the other side. And I was like, that shit is fucking dope. And I do want that. But that's not even real.
So many broken dreams.
Broken dreams by the lie matrix, bro. The pain matrix, the lie, fucking lies everywhere.
Shout out to Big Lies number 1 through 4 on youtube.com Daylife Army channel.
Yeah. And welcome back to the Jesus Show. Thank you, Mary, for jumping on. Let's do a quick shout out to Automat. You can wash by using the below links. They're going to be linked at the description of this video, but I'll say them out so that it brainwashes you and you start to hear them in your dreams. Cash.me/$wash it all, PayPal.me/wash it all, laundruss at automat.me for Apple Pay and Zelle. And then if you're trying to wash in any other way, 100f at automat.me, send me an email. We'll figure something out. All right. And then till next time, have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.